Just take a look at last year's Grey Cup, dominated by the elements. It was close, but the Argos came out victorious. The Grey Cup rematch in August was a more controlled environment. On artificial turf inside Skydome, here the Argos took full control, winning 38-14. Tonight they meet again. Perhaps the elements in Edmonton will make for a tough game. Outdoors, natural grass, who knows? Oh, and most importantly, the Eskimos are always tough to beat at home.
Not. Now, for the Toronto Argonauts, who's the guy that drives the bus? Well, take your pick, because there's three players having unbelievable years. Robert Drummond could become the first player in the history of the league to have 1,000 yards rushing and receiving in the same year. He's on pace to break the touchdown record. Doug Flutie could smash his own record for touchdown passes in a year, and Mike Clemens could shatter his own record for all-purpose yards. So, Leaf, who is it?
Well, I mean, all three of them great. That 1,000 for Drummond, I love it. Roger Craig in the NFL is the only guy that's ever done that before. But the big question in Toronto this week has been, who is the MVP of the Toronto Argonauts? And it's very, very clear to me there's one choice, and it's the guy that drives the train, Doug Flutie. Without him, the other guys would not have the numbers that they had. It's safe to say Clements might, but all three of them, or the two of them, wouldn't perform without Doug Flutie.
The Argos know where the Grey Cup game will be played, and the Eskimos know too. A possible preview coming up next. Well, we talked about it before the game. Who do you think is the best player in this game? And Ron Lancaster says no question. When he looks at all-time players in this league, it's Doug Flutie. He said he lifts everybody's play. And I'll tell you what, you can make the case that the three greatest players in CFL history are in this stadium tonight. Doug Flutie, Ron Lancaster, and don't forget, too, there's a guy prowling around that we saw before the game by the name of Parker, who was voted the player of the quarter century in 1975. So Ron Lancaster says he's intrigued by quarterbacks. He loves to watch him play. He saw Jack Parker near the end of his career, but he says Flutie's the best I've ever seen. Well, when he was a television commentator, Ron Lancaster used to say, if you can't get a yard in this league when they have to give you one, there's something wrong.
Yeah, and he's right. I think sometimes offensively you're only as good as your short yardage, and they haven't been very good.
Here comes Sellers, and he won't get in. Mike Sellers gets stood up by this defensive line, and this is very reminiscent of the game at Skydome when the Eskimos were turned away on 3 tries from the goal line, and the Argos wound up turning the game around.
Well, Mike O'Shea really makes the play here. You have to have your middle linebacker doing it. You just follow him, and he'll take you to the football. Watch this hit. Squares up right in the hole. Big man against big man, and Mike O'Shea makes a heck of a play, but that's what he's supposed to do in short yardage, and he did it perfectly.
Now it's 3rd and goal, and the Edmonton Eskimos will gamble. They lead 10-3 with just over a minute to play in the opening quarter.
Well, last week against BC, they only converted 2 of 7 short yardage situations.
Here goes Sellers, up and over, and he does not get in. Just like they did at Skydome, the Argos turn the Eskimos away on 3 tries from the 1, and it'll be Toronto football from there. Wow.
Well, you know, I just said it. 2 out of 7 was the only amount that they could convert against BC. And again, watch Mike O'Shea, 50 in the middle. He's right in the hole. He gets a little help there from Rob Waldrop. But boy, oh boy, I mean, Mike O'Shea was right there twice. He's the guy you count on, and he's the guy that came through. He had some help that time, but that's 2 in a row. And boy, the short yardage problems of Edmonton just seem to escalate. And don't think that's not the kind of play that'll kickstart your team. And Toronto, trailing by 7, came up with a huge effort right there.
Argos from their 1. And Flutie deep in the end zone. Fires it past the goalpost, and he's got Mike Clemens, and the pinball will give them breathing room as he vaults across the 20 for a 20-yard gain. And
Hands, guys.
Jet will punt.
Hands.
Good high kick. Gizmo from the 38-yard line. Trying to reverse his tracks. Here he goes again. Across midfield. He's got the punter to beat. Mike Vanderjagt gives chase. Here goes Gizmo. Touchdown, Edmonton. A 72-yard punt return for a touchdown. The Argos think there was a clip, but instead there's a flip by the Giz.
The star of this game so far with 80 yards and returns up until that play in the first quarter, and now to take it all the way, and he works the crowd here at Commonwealth, and they're very willing to get it up with him.
That's a quarter century for the Gizmo, a 25th punt return for a touchdown. And maybe the instructions from Don Matthews, kick it away from it.
Now, when he goes with those middle returns, he sets up some great angles for his blockers when they're peeling back for him.
Better than anyone has ever done it in this league or any other. And Henry Williams has done it again. Sean Fleming puts the point after up and good. And the Edmonton Eskimos now with a 17-3 lead on the 10-2 Toronto Argonauts. Loss of 6 brings up second and long, and you can bet they're coming again. McManus has time, zings, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Reggie Givens. And Reggie Givens, as the flag comes down, is forced out of bounds at the 31-yard line. The flag came down after the interception, and Danny McManus throws a key pick with his team leading by 13. Reggie Givens with his first interception of the year.
I think Doug Flutie and Don Matthews realized that they were going to not have an easy time here tonight, and that certainly has been the case here in the first half.
Pinball Clemens takes it from his 15-yard line. Here comes the pinball on the kickoff return. Out across the 40. He steps out of bounds at the 42.
Well, there's no question that Mike Clemens is going to break his all-purpose record. It's at 3,300 yards coming into tonight. He's a little over 2,500. That projects out to around 3,800 yards, so he would not only surpass his own mark, he would shatter it, and I don't think there's any question he'll do it with ease.
Now the question is, will he make the CFL All-Star team? He didn't last year, even though he led the league in receptions by a wide margin. You got to think Milt Stiegel's going to be on there as a slot back. Where do you put the pinball?
Well, because he's classified as a running back, so he probably won't be on there. You know, if you looked at the East and running backs right now, it's got Pringle and Drummond. So Mike Clemens then probably does not make the All-Star team because of the classification of his position.
I think the Polar Bears a much better look for the Eskimos. First down for the Argos, just on the Edmonton side of midfield. Flutie with a convoy in front of him looking for the first down marker, still going, and Flutie will have the first down and then some. He ran a long, long way to get there, and he's out of bounds at the 37 for a pickup of 16 yards. Key second down play now for the Argonauts from the Edmonton 27-yard line. Flutie over the middle. Dimitrition has the catch. Touchdown. Dwayne Dimitrition stumbling makes the 27-yard catch for the touchdown, but there's a flag at the 20. And everyone looking on anxiously now.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Edmonton 13 is declined. Touchdown.
Tommy Henry again is called, but this time they'll gladly decline the penalty. And Dwayne Dimitrition with his wife, his folks, his in-laws, and you name it here tonight, has the touchdown catch, his second of the year, his second in as many weeks.
Well, you know what? He's a good guy that's had to put up with a little bit this year. He was the starting slot back to begin the year. Our wide receiver, rather, they moved him out of that. Kerwan took over. They moved him to slot. Then Saunders came in and took his job. And Now he's back in, and he's always had a terrific attitude. He's one of the nicest young gentlemen you'll ever meet, and it's nice to see him have some production and play well.
Vanderjet puts the point after up and good, and now with 2:12 to play in the first half, Toronto has crept within 6.
And I guess one thing, it's to the left of your screen when you're taking on defensive backs. Glenn Rogers is the leader in interceptions, and that's who Dwayne Demetrician beats right here, and that's just a throw. I mean, that was pretty good coverage. I think it was a well-calculated gamble by Glenn Rogers, but the throw was just too good.
Dwayne Demetrician from Saskatoon out of the University of Saskatchewan has his second touchdown catch and a big smile. And you know what? That family get-together tonight will be a lot more fun.
Well, keep in mind how hard he's worked to become a decent receiver. I mean, he was a terrific running back at the University of Saskatchewan. I'll get that out. But he was a running back. He was not called upon to catch the ball a lot, but he had great speed. So when he came to the pros, and especially in Toronto, they felt like he might make a better contribution as a receiver. He's worked very hard, and you see the results of that with a nice touchdown catch.
Hey, you overshare. Don't worry, baby, we'll take it home.
Well, if he keeps playing the way he's been playing, they just may do that.
Chances ripping the helmet right off Gizmo there, and there's Paul Mazzotti. The last play of the third quarter sure looked like a catch, Lee.
Well, what you have to determine is, did he have possession when he hit the ground, and then the ground can't cause a fumble? So,
well, we know what Doug Flutie thought. Have a look at this.
He did everything right, but in the mind of the official who was close by, he just felt like he didn't have possession when he hit the turf.
How did the fuck when I hit the ground? Did you show it? Cut the fuck.
Sean Fleming to kick it off, sends it deep to Henry, to Mike Clemens rather, back at the 15-yard line, and here comes the pinball. And he gets up to the 38-yard line before he is dropped to the play. And you talked about what happened earlier with Danny McManus and Rob Waldrop, and that's a nice thing to see.
Well, this is kind of nice to see in light of what happened in that game in Winnipeg last night and how things got carried away. This was the hit that Danny McManus objected to, and probably rightfully so. I think he did. But Rob Waldrop felt, hey, I'm not that kind of player. And so a play or two later, on a delay of game, Rob Waldrop came over. He's right there, and he just said, hey, I didn't mean it. I'm not that kind of player, and they shook hands. And boy, in light of what happened last night, you have to appreciate that kind of sportsmanship.
We're gonna win this one though, baby.
Well, Eddie Brown is a guy who goes down as part of a trivia question. He was part of the biggest trade in CFL history. Look at the 16 players. It was an 8-for-8 deal. Now, Eddie Brown gets an asterisk. He's still here along with Bruce Dixon, but Eddie Brown left and came back. Bruce Dixon is the only player on either team who has remained with that club since that 8-for-8 deal. Look at the names involved. Tracy Ham, Craig Ellis. There's some good ones involved there. Enos Jackson, now a policeman down in Arkansas, I understand. Huge kick by Fleming. Sends the pinball back to the 20. And now he starts coming back the other way. Here he goes. Sean Fleming makes the stop up at the 39-yard line, a 51-yard punt, and a 19-yard return. Now Drummond lined up at wide receiver. Flutie slings it. Daryl Mitchell makes the catch. First down and then some. Here's Mitchell into the backfield. And Mitchell gone. Touchdown Toronto. 71 yards and the Argos lead. Daryl Mitchell with his 10th touchdown catch of the year, and suddenly the Argos burst on top for the first time in this game.
Well, and again, Doug Flutie really had to hold the ball longer. He wants to throw now, and then finally he's able to, and that's a good catch by Mitchell. He knows there's going to be some heavy traffic, but a nice move. He breaks the tackle of Derek Beattie.
Davis Reed was the first man with a shot at him. And Daryl Mitchell makes them pay a 71-yard pass and run touchdown. And he now has 7 touchdown catches in his last 5 games.
Wow. Well, he's only 20 yards away from a 1,000-yard receiving season. And that's pretty impressive for a rookie.
There's Daryl Mitchell. Still celebrating his touchdown catch, the 10th of his season.
Well, I don't think there's any question from the reverse angle. You'll see this is a terrific catch. He's anticipating getting drilled as he comes here, but Some very, very sloppy tackling by Edmonton allows him to go the distance.
American has a gain of a yard. It's 2nd and 9. McManus stands in and gets hammered. And guess who was there? Rob Waldrop, his old pal. And Waldrop helps McManus up, but not before he helped him to the ground.
Well, I mean, in a situation like this, 2nd and 9, there's no secrets. Edmonton has to go hard. Rob Waldrop just leapfrogs over Rod Kahn up the center and gets in and gets enough pressure on McManus that pass isn't able to be completed.
Then McManus took a pretty good shot at the end of that last play. And so far, he's been able to hang in the first game back with that rough shoulder.
And I think Rob Waldrop, after that, he's really feeling pretty guilty for that earlier thing because, again, he's shaking hands and helping him up. And I think there's tremendous guilt taken over by Rob Waldrop here.
Well, at least we didn't see in this game what we saw last night. We won't see dueling coaches. I said to Ron Lancaster, you going to take off after Matthews or something like that happens tonight? He says, I'm too old for that stuff.
Well, this is the ultimate challenge now. You got 1 minute and 2 to go. You've got an offense that's played very well tonight with Danny McManus as their quarterback, and you're running against and working against the #1 defense in the league. It doesn't get much better than this.
McManus on 2nd down, steps up, going deep. He's got a man wide open, and it's picked off. It hangs up for Lester Smith, and Smith, with the interception of Danny McManus, should do it for Toronto. Don Blair had broken in behind the coverage and was wide open.
Boy, you want to see a stadium empty quickly.
And the air got out of a football team quickly. Wow.
Lester Smith. Here's Lester Smith right here. All they want from him at this stage is to play center field, read the quarterback, and read the ball in the air. He should be able to go from hash mark to hash mark quite easily. But he just makes a great play to step in front and make the interception.
Don Blair was 3 steps behind the Argo defense. It's the 4th turnover of the game, and it's the one that will sink the Eskimos.
Okay.
Flutie downs it on 1st down with 44 seconds to go. The Argos riding a 5-game winning streak, looking to run it to 6.
It's all good, baby.
It's going to go through.
Yeah,
Baby.
You got to come to T.O., baby.
Go and do
What's
Toronto.
up, baby?
Can't go
You gotta
nowhere
come,
else
yeah.
but do Toronto, baby.
Players make big plays, baby. Team, baby. We ball, baby.
I think that was all the Smiths.
We'll be
I
back.
think that was Lester, Donald, and Adrian in there.
Mookie, it's Pavel Bilovich here.
Mookie.
I understand that's your nickname, is that right?
Yes.
Well, Coach Matthews alluded that to me, so I hope that's okay to call you that.
Oh, it's okay.
Listen, I want to know how you like playing slot back in the Canadian Football League. I know we have a lot of receivers come up here that have never played that position and on this field, and it's such a wide open game.
Oh, well, I really enjoy playing slot back in this position, you know, because in this game, the CFL is so wide open, which is really the advantage towards the receiver. So I just try my best to use this wide field as an advantage.
Daryl, it's Les Brown. Do you actually realize what you're doing? You're like shaking up the league in your rookie season.
Yeah, a lot of guys tell me that, but, you know, I try to just, you know, put that behind me and concentrate on just helping the team win. So, you know, it's real nice, you know, to come here with the caliber team that the Argos are and just try to just continue doing what they're doing, and that's winning.
And I want to know how you got the nickname Mookie.
I got that nickname from my roommate in college. He just said I looked like a guy named Mookie, and everybody on the team just started calling me Mookie.
Was he talking about Mookie Wilson, the baseball player?
Now, a lot of people up here in Canada have been telling me that lately, but no, it hasn't come from that. He just gave me that nickname Mookie.
We were all noting during this game, we still haven't had a chance to chat after game, to Mike Pinball Clements. If ever there was a great ambassador for this game, it is him. And Pinball, congratulations, by the way, recently on you and your wife having a 2nd child. I know it was an exciting moment for you. Just tell me about the game tonight.
Is this Gord?
This is Rod.
Rod, I'm sorry, Rod. How you doing, buddy?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. All right. Where did Gord come from? I'm sorry, Rod.
Gord's upstairs.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rod. And yes, very excited about our new little lady. Please, I'd like to say hi to my little girl, Raven, who's 3 weeks and 4 days today, and also my little girl, Rachel. Thank you for letting me do that.
Hey, Pinball, it's Marty York. How you doing?
Great, Marty. How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. Listen, there's a lot of talk about which one of you guys should get the Outstanding Player award this year. Now,
can I say not me?
I know you're going to say that anyway. I know you're going to say. So who is it, Drummond or Flutie, huh?
Well, I think that I like to defer this question, but since you've asked me, it's really tough to say. Robert Drummond has just been playing out of his mind this year. I mean, he's been having an out-of-body experience almost every night out. I call him the extraterrestrial now. But you know, Doug is really the guy that makes it happen night in and night out, and he does so many things. And he's really the nucleus. When you say most valuable player, he's the guy I think that we can't do without the most. But when you say most outstanding player, right now I think you have to say Robert Drummond has a little bit of a nod because he can be the he can be the first player to ever rush for 1,000 yards and catch passes for 1,000 yards, as well as crush the touchdown record. So right now I think Flutie MVP, Robert Drummond most outstanding player. Is that a political answer?
Sure don't have it. Michael, it's Bob Obilovich here.
How you doing, Coach?
Good. How you doing?
Good, buddy.
Listen, I wanted to just mention something. You were on a Grey Cup team in 1991, and you've been on some good Argonaut football teams.
Yes, sir.
But this has to be the most talented football team as far as the overall team, isn't it?
Where are we going?
Yeah, you know, in terms of overall, I think you're right, and I think not for all the reasons that everyone gives us credit for, the Drummonds and the Fluties and Mazzatis and Daryl Mitchell, Mookie we call him, who's just an outstanding player. But I think the key here is that we've had some great offensive teams, but I don't think our defense has ever been this good. Yeah. They're really the backbone. They were responsible for the win tonight. They're the ones that kept us in the ball game and did the things well and made the big play at the end of the game in the interception. So I think defensively is the reason why this is the best team that I've ever been on. Yeah.
We couldn't agree with you more, Michael.
Yeah, I just want you to let everybody know, Mike, that me and you did not rehearse this before you said that. But Mike,
did you mention that too?
Yeah, I did. But you know what, Mike?
Strangely, we all agree on this one.
I know.
All right.
Michael, you've got Gordon Leaf up in the booth joining you now.
Hey, how you doing, Gordon Leaf? Gord, there you are.
Yeah, well, you know, I was off getting a sandwich. Sorry.
All right, all right.
Now, Michael, what I want to know, every team kind of has a ritual in their pregame warm-up, and you didn't know tonight that near the end of your warm-up, you had the whole team together, and we took a shot of that and did a little recording because you addressed the team, and I thought it would be kind of interesting, and if you could share maybe exactly what you talked about with them, and we have that on tape, and you do a little dance, you get everybody fired up. There it is right now if you have a monitor to see it, but what are you talking to them about?
Well, you know, we're just getting ready to play the ball game there, Leaf. This is, I mean, the Canadian Football League is the most exciting game there is, and when we go out, it's entertainment. It's not just a game anymore. We go out to entertain, and this is part of getting ready and get psyched. We trying to get our groove on, if you will. So that's what we're doing there, and we have a couple of little chants that we say and things that we do. So that's what we're doing right there.
That's what Leaf and I try to do pinball before games, is try to get our groove on.
Thank you.
Mike Clements, the Pinball, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And the Argos go on to take this game 25-24, so close. Edmonton, very impressive tonight, and not getting dominated the way previous Argo opponents had. Very close in the CFL West. Because of Edmonton's loss, we'll have more in CFL Live right after this.